You've been lounging with Skipper. You've been lounging with Skipper.
What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you all to another episode of Loungin with Skip. This is episode 43, I believe, or 44. I have to really kind of go back in my past videos to see, but I'm pretty sure it's episode 43. I'm sitting with a man that I came in contact with, I believe it was in 2018, around July, August 2018, on a BET movie called Her Only Choice. And the times that I was cutting this brother on that movie, we had some interesting conversations. You know what I'm saying? The energy was good. We had deep conversations. And I was like, okay, this brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, his mindset is different, you know what I'm saying? And his thinking and his, you know, his thoughts, whatever, in a way matches mine to where it could become conversation. So a lot of the times when I was cutting them, we would just be having deep conversations, and that stuck with me. So fast forward about 2 years, close to 3 years later, was working on another movie. And when I saw, before I got called in to go in on that day, I looked at the call sheet and saw his name on there. And I was like, oh man, I'm about to see him tomorrow. And so when the PA brought him into the trailer, it wasn't no hesitation. We just, you know what I'm saying, dapped up and continued on from where we left off. You know what I'm saying? This brother's a good brother. He's an actor, been doing this thing for quite some time. I want to welcome to the Loungin with Skip podcast, Timon Durrett, actor Timon Durrett, also known as Tree. Now, I didn't know that you went by Tree until one of the kids, I was cutting him, and I mentioned your name, and he was like, oh, you mean Tree? I was like, yeah, y'all call him Tree? I was like, but I was like, okay, because he's tall, Tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I put two and two together, but I didn't even know you about Tree.
I told all the folks, you know, including the kids on the movie, that you can just call me Tree. I figured I'd be the only Tree on set, just make it easier for everybody. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the kids loved it. And I just told everybody, just call me that. I know you talking to me so we can get things moving. So, yeah, man.
Now, how tall are you? Just to
I'm 6'5". I'm not the tallest dude in the world, but amongst my family and a lot of my friends, you know, I'm typically the tallest. You know, I got some homies, man, make me look short, but you know, most of my folks, man, you know, I stand out. So yeah, the nickname stuck amongst my family and my friends. So
okay, I want to recap. This right here is episode 44. So
44.
This is episode 44. So let the listeners and the viewers know, like, how did you begin? So where are you from?
From Chicago, South Side. You know.
Born and raised.
Yeah, born and bred on the south side of Chicago, in an area called the Wild Hundreds. Anybody from Chicago, you know, they should be familiar with that area if they're of a certain age and ilk. Came out to LA 2001. Unfortunately, my mom passed away. We had to sell the house, and my sister was in charge of the affairs. So I came out to LA and
to kind of move forward. So just to go back though. But in your earlier years, did you ever see did you have an interest in TV and acting at an early age?
No, when I was young, you know, like grade school age, you know, I'm an artist as well. And, you know, I wanted to do like comic books and cartoons and you know, things like Marvel, like in DC Comics, like anthologies and things like that, which I'm still working on art projects now, just in different ways. But as I got older, I grew very fond of action movies like Rambo and First Blood, Terminator, Predator, you know, all of those movies that, you know, just inspired me. I liked stuff like that. And, you know, I always told my parents, you know, I want to do that. I want to be on TV. And, you know, we don't have a history of actors or entertainers in my family. As far as I know, I know a couple of my nieces and nephews expressed interest, but I'm the only one in my whole family. I have a huge family, but I'm the only one, you know, doing what I do. But you know, one day I came home and my mother had just heard a radio advertisement. I think it was on WGCI, and she just heard a commercial saying, "You want to be in the movies? You know, come down to this address and audition for." Oddly enough, it was a made-for-television movie entitled "There Are No Children Here," starring Oprah Winfrey, and that was my very first time ever being on like an actual, you know, outside of the home video. You know, being on a television, a movie set or a television set, and having seen myself on TV. I just played an extra. I didn't have any lines. I was brand new to the industry. I didn't know what to expect. And when I got to set, I just saw the moving parts and the lights and the cameras and the rails for the dollies and, you know, the mics and the special lighting and all these different people that I recognize, and I'm seeing them in real life. And I just said, you know, I like this. This is what I want to do. And
around what year was this?
This was 1993, I believe.
Wow.
93. When I got 92 or 93, I got to look back. But you know, did that, and then I had my friends calling me, "Hey man, we saw you on TV in the movie," and it was exciting, you know. And I saw myself, and you know, they had a little VHS thing where we recorded it, and so I can play it back, show people like, "Hey, that's me right there in the corner with the yellow and black on," you know,
walking by or something like something
know,
real quick, something real quick.
I mean, it was enough to where you could see me, and then you saw me in another angle, but that was about it. But that was enough to, you know, to spark in me the desire to keep doing this. Then I went away to college.
Now, what school did you go to?
Alcorn State University.
Okay.
You know, played a little basketball there, graduated, and came back. You know, while I was there, you know, I was doing different things because I had attained an agent. So I would drive the 12 hours to Chicago. I was body doubling for Scottie Pippen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Doing, you know, modeling jobs and calendars and things like that. Nothing very huge, but enough to keep me, you know, working. And, you know, as a college student, you go do this body double work and they paying you for that. You come back to school, you know, you were the man back then. So I did that. But when I graduated, you know, came back home and decided, you know, because my mother was diagnosed with cancer while I was still in school. So when I graduated, my little brother and I graduated at the same time. He had a longer major, but I went to school after him. Long story. But when I came back, I decided to get a job where mostly I could be with my mom, you know, at home, you know, during the day, and then have a job where I worked later in the evening to take care of her. And then when she passed away, moved out to LA, man, and then things just, you know, it was like an up and down type of thing. You know, I was met with like some traumatic experiences and things like that. And then boom, here's a gift. Here's a movie role. Here's a TV role. Here's a play. Here's this and that. So
now you moved out here in 20 years ago. Looking back on that, does it seem like that was 20 years ago?
I mean, when you know the chronology of it, when you realize what year it was and you think about how long it actually is, the mental concept of that long, it's like, oh, that's a long time. But you know, and then all the things that have transpired in my life from the time I moved away from Chicago to today, you know, when I think about it chronologically, and the number of different significant events in my life, it would seem like a long time, but in my, I don't know how to describe it, like in my spirit, I guess, or my mind, you know, or my creative eye, it just seems like, man, that wasn't that long ago. Like it was a lot that's happened in actual physical time, or the time being what it is, not physical, but when you really think about how much has happened and how it feels, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. When I moved out here, that was the same year that 9/11 happened. You know, I was out here like 6 months before that happened. Like maybe, like 6 months, like less than that, like 5.5. And to think that back then, when I moved out here and coming up in September, that was 20 years ago. It just blows my mind. Like that's 2 whole decades, man. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, and even coming all the way back since 1993, I can vividly remember the set and what I was doing the day when I booked my first acting job, my very first one. And I just, you know, the time, and that's been almost 30, you know.
Hey man, that's what I'm saying. It's like, time is time, but it's really not a lot of time.
Yeah,
like
and it's relative.
We look back on life in a wide scope of things, and it seems like it's a long time, but when you really break it down from the wide scope of time, it's really not that much time.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? And that's why it's good to get in where you can, do what you can do now, because when that understanding begins to kick in, then you take advantage of the moments
Yeah.
in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is you know what I'm saying, you're doing now in this present day. You're taking the time, but as you see, it's that level that's moving up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In
man.
comparison to the years. And we have to go through those journeys of the ups and the downs to appreciate when you're up. You know what I mean? And to understand the time that it took to get to where you are. And it makes us as individuals appreciate our surroundings a little bit more and become more in tune with, you know what I'm saying, the understanding of man and just what our lives are as individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know people who, a lot of folks that I knew from back home and that I met out here and in other places who just decided not to stick it out to do what they really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And and they're doing great. But some of them come to me and say, "Man, you stuck it out, man.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing." And I said, "Yeah." And I tell people, I said, the end result is one thing, but all the stuff in between, I've had my trials and tribulations. I've had my hardships, my down moments, my dark days. A lot of people would think, "Oh, you got it all. You got money, you on TV, you get to be around all these famous, beautiful people." And I said, those same people went through trials and tribulations too. Some of them are going through things right now.
Right.
So, it's just, I'm a regular guy. A lot of people say, "Well, you're not regular." I say, "Well, look, I look at myself as a regular guy, but with a not so regular job,
Mm-hmm.
And I love what I do. Look, Skip, I get to play make-believe on TV for a living, bro.
Right.
I get to have fun. I work with some cool people. I get to play different characters, oftentimes just a less than desirable character. But what I do for a living allows me to stay in my creative mindset. I'm not a mundane guy. Like and hats off to people who love doing, like paperwork and clerical things and accounting and office work and corporate, the corporate sector. That's not me, bro.
Yeah.
I think if I had to sit in an office day to day or do something, like that, something repetitive, like I'm doing the same thing every day,
I go crazy.
Yes. I mean, some people, they like it. They like that structure. They like this and they like that. Some people, that's just how they're wired.
But everybody's wired differently.
Yeah. I'm like, so I appreciate people who do the things that they do because, we got to have balance. But me, my mind it's just different than that.
Now, speaking of an undesirable character that you played, randomly, I think it was maybe a year ago, I happened to be watching Barbershop, and I was like, "Oh snap!" I didn't know, when I saw it then, I didn't know who you were. But
Right.
Like back in the day when it came out, but when I saw it like a year ago on TV, I'm like, "Oh snap!" And you came in and gave everybody the bad news, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm like the bearer of bad news, or I'm the bad guy, and I don't mind playing the bad guy.
But how was it for you, being from Chicago, working on that movie that was based in Chicago, dealing with things that was going on in Chicago? What was that like for you, working on that movie?
I mean, it was interesting, man. I for one, I appreciated the work at the time, because that was one of those periods in my life where I was really, really having a hard time getting a foothold of things. But to land that role real quick when I got to work on the scene with Common and Deion Cole, homies from Chicago, working right next to Ice Cube and Cedric the Entertainer and Regina Hall and Margot Nicki Minaj, all of these different people, and just but the theme of it was like a lot of people see the movies, but it's like I lived this and was dealing with this back in the 80s and the 90s, man, a long time ago, where so it wasn't hard to consciously get in that mode of delivering this. I've had to go and tell some of the homies, "Hey man, y'all heard about such and such, man?" But yeah, he just got shot up in killed the other day, or had the news delivered to me.
Right. Yeah.
As far back as 8th grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Friends of mine who were just, I mean, you don't want to be too detailed, but just went on too soon, man. And so when I did the film, I was like, I get it. And I know it's like a comedy, family type of thing, but thematically,
it was real. It was real.
Yeah, it was real, man. I have a very clear, much clearer understanding than a lot of people because I grew up in the area where that stuff was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I went in, I was like, I can play this part. This is I can relate to this. So
now fast forward in the years, because we've seen what I'm saying, everything that you've gone through as far as the trials and tribulations. I tell people a lot of times that you have to live in your journey in order to thrive and survive through the journey. You can't put a limitation to your journey. So by you thriving and surviving in your journey, boom, you get this call to go do Queen Sugar. Now, at the time when Queen Sugar came about, it was just a startup, show that was just beginning, not knowing of the success that it would become. What were your thoughts going into doing that show, and where has it landed you today?
I didn't know what it was. I got an email from my agent, and I was like, "What is this?" And I didn't really pay attention to it that much because I was doing some things, and that was another one of those times, like not too long after I booked Barbershop 3, the next cut. I landed Queen Sugar. Actually, I got the audition for it, but it took them a while to get back because it became this thing where word got around about who's producing it, who's directing it, who's creating it, and all these people involved. And so there were more and more auditions. I did a self-tape when I was in Atlanta. A friend of mine and her son, they had all the equipment, the lights, camera, the editing stuff. So I was like, hey, man, I'll treat y'all to dinner, or bring you some food and whatever you want from the grocery store if y'all can record this thing for me for this audition for this show. And I had just gotten familiar with Ava DuVernay because I had watched Selma a few months prior to my audition. So I knew who she was, and I really liked the film. And I was like, I like this, so, and I actually auditioned for Selma before I even know who Ava was. So when I saw the name again, I was like, and I saw Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey, I was like, oh, I'm auditioning for this. So I sent in the self-tape, and it took, man, Skip, I'm telling you, I guess this thing got traction. It took them, from what I remember, 5 weeks and 6 days to finally lock down the Davis character and call me and say, hey, the part is yours. Meanwhile, I was broke as a joke, man. I was struggling, but I just kept saying, because my agent was calling me saying, yeah, they're reading this person, they're reading this guy, they're reading this person, but you're not out. They're not canceling you out. You're still in it. They're just checking out more people just to see what they're really looking for. And so I said, you know what? I couldn't drive my truck because I couldn't afford to get it fixed to pass the smog check to get my current plate. My current tags. Wow. I had to sell certain things. I had to sell my TV, certain special edition sneakers. So my bicycle just to keep afloat, and I was walking to the gym, or I had to walk, to the mailbox and back. There wasn't really a significant bus route that would come through where I was for me. So I said, I'll just get my workout on and jog over there, 1.5 miles there, 1.5 miles back. I had to go to the grocery store. It was like a mile each way. So I would just carry enough groceries that I can carry in my hands and in my backpack. And when I would walk, and I would put my headphones in just so people wouldn't think I was crazy. And I would say, and I would repeat it every day. And this was the mantra. I remember it like it was yesterday. I don't care who they read. No, I don't care who they see for this part. Ava DuVernay does not see anyone except for me playing the role as Davis West in Queen Sugar.
And you were telling yourself this every day.
I would just say it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it over and over and over and over and over and over, like thousands of times a day. I just kept saying, I don't care who they see. Ava DuVernay does not see anyone except me playing the role of Davis West in Queen Sugar. So that one night, I was at a friend's house about to watch The Walking Dead because I like zombie stuff. And I got a phone call. 323 area code, and it was was it 323? I forget which area code, but I knew it was an LA number. Now that I think about it, I can't remember what the area code was, but I knew it was an LA number. I'm over here making up stuff. So it was Ava. And so
What? She
I'm like,
hit you up?
yeah, I said, hello. And she
Wow.
said, hi, this is Ava DuVernay. May I speak to Timon Durrett, please? I was like, this is he. It's like, hey, thank you for coming out and auditioning for our show. It's just something, little thing that we're doing. Flew all the way across the country. And then she says, and this is when my heart drops, Skip. She says, well, I typically just work with actors who have been to acting class or have had taken acting classes or been to acting school. And to reverse a little bit, when we met for the audition, I had told her that I did not go to acting school and I hadn't taken any acting classes except for one, but I could only participate in like 2 sessions because I couldn't afford to keep going.
Wow.
I said I just went and I audited the class and I watched that and I would study films and things like that. And so she said, fast forwarding back to the night that she called me, I was still living in Marietta, Georgia. And she said, no, typically I just work with actors who've been to acting school or attended acting classes to some degree. And I was like, man, this is the call I'm getting. And then she was like, but I don't see anyone but you playing Davis West and Queen Sugar. Skip.
Are you serious?
I'm getting the same chill that I got that night. I was like, man, I said, she said exactly the same thing, just in first person.
Wow.
And I'm talking about like what I would say, she said the same thing, but just in first person as herself. And I was like, from now on, I will never speak any negativity into my life. I'm only going to do what I want.
Wow.
And, she said, so if you want the role, it's yours if you want it. I said, yes, I want it. She's like, congratulations. Welcome to the Queen Sugar family. Keep my number. We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch with the agent. We got all the particulars coming your way. So looking forward to it. And let's have some fun. And I'm like, bet. And the first day of Queen Sugar, day 1 of episode 1, I was in LA shooting in what was supposed to be Davis West's home. It was the first day and I'm there day 1. Ava was there, Oprah was there. And I'm just like, I'm a series regular on a series. And I'm like, we didn't even know what it was going to be. But what's crazy, I'll rewind a little bit before that, Skip.
And you moved from LA to Georgia?
Moved from LA to Atlanta. And when I was in Atlanta, well, LA to Marietta, but Atlanta. And when I found out I got Queen Sugar, I had to move to New Orleans because we shot there for 5.5 months. And then I moved back here to LA.
Okay.
But before that, a friend of mine, we were supposed to be going to a Christmas party and there had been some drama and stuff. Like a lot of her friends had this misconception that she thought that she was too good to hang out because she was hanging out, she met one of her homeboys and was hanging out with me. And it was just some beef and stuff. And now we were supposed to go to this Christmas party. So she called me one night, because my friends, my homies, some of that I played ball with in college invited me to the party. And that's when I met her. I'm like, oh, she's from the crib. Cool. So we kept in touch, meeting people from my hometown and said, oh, we're having a Christmas party at the same place. You want to go? I'm like, cool, let's go. And then she was telling me about everything that was happening. So fast forward, she called me Tuesday night. I'm not feeling good. I'm broke as a joke, bro. I'm just struggling. I'm in a dark place.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't think I want to go to the party. I don't want to deal with any drama. I don't really want to be around folks and this and that. And she was like, well, if people are going to hate, let them hate. We should just go have a good time. You might as well get out and have a good time. I said, you know what? You're right. I'll go. And then she said, but what would be cool? What if you had to leave the party early Thursday night because you had to fly out for a part in LA? I got the call the Thursday night before the party, before I met her, that I had, that I was auditioning for Queen Sugar. And I called her, I said, yo, guess what? I said, I'm gonna have to leave the party early because I'm being flown out Friday morning at 7 a.m. to go to LA to audition for an in-person audition for this role because I didn't know what a test read was. A test read is when you go, this is your last audition for this thing. This is the read. They like seriously considering you. And I told her, I said, I'm going to test read for that audition I told you about. It blew her mind, man. And I said, all the stuff that's been going on surrounding Queen Sugar. And I tell people it's been a very special experience for me because there's some, and I got like a dozen other stories to tell you, man, that I could tell you. It'll take all day. But, maybe another time. But it just, Queen Sugar for me has been very magical. I've met some of the most awesome people. And when I tell you, like everybody in the cast, when I'm on set, it's like everybody, it's like the playoffs. Everybody's ready. Like we are laughing, joking, this and that. But when it's time to film, there's this thing, this hush of professionalism and spirit where you know, things are really good and they keep me on my toes. And what really helps with the show, and you know how a lot of people say it's so real and real to life, a lot of us, we spend a lot of time together. You know, my screen son and I, you know, I'm much older than him, but that's my dude, you know, and we just spend time, we hang out, we know each other. So in the screen, on the screen, in the scenes, I can just feel because I just know who he is. I know where he's going with it. So, and it's been that way with that.
You know, it's interesting speaking on, you know, when you know, because once again, we talk about spirit, we talk about energy. You know, when working on these sets, you really have to tap into the energy sometimes to really tap into the whole vibe of the show, of what's going on, to be able to help you work through it. You know what I mean? Where, you know, I've been on some, you know, I've been on some sets where the energy was just a little different.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand what's going. I know that it wasn't me, but I know that it's just the energy of all the different spirits of people that are there in conjunction with one another, you know, in this whole melting pot of energy.
Yeah.
So what you have experienced working on Queen Sugar is a melting pot of good energy, where where it's like that place of like-minded spirits.
Yeah, man.
You know what
like,
I'm saying? And and so it kind of led you to that, and that became your first like TV series regular, like, you know what I'm saying?
That was my first one. Yeah, I mean, and what's crazy about it is that's how I like to be on set. You know, like I've been on sets with people they're doing it for just a check, or they're not taking it seriously, or they don't know their lines, or they're not ready, they're not prepared. Folks on Queen Sugar ain't like that. And what I find that people say, oh man, we got lucky because you have a group of very talented people who don't take themselves seriously. Like, you should see us laughing and joking and clowning offset, or just going to hang out. I mean, I'm talking about just, you know, like, or the ones who don't get along on camera.
Yeah,
you know, we're laughing and joking
and
clowning like it's crazy. It's like night and day. But I mean, but it, you know, like I said, being brought into the fold of something like that, man, I can't complain, man. It's been awesome. And then when we got nominated for Outstanding Series for the NAACP Image Awards in 2017, Skip, I was a nervous wreck, brother. I was nervous because I've been, you know, it's funny, like that chill that I said I got when Ava DuVernay said to me what I had been saying for almost 6 weeks every day.
Yeah.
When they showed us the episode before it was finished, but they just let us see it to see what the feel is like and everything.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, you know, I was like, whoa. I said, we're gonna win something. We're gonna be nominated for something. And I guess maybe it's a bad luck thing to say that nobody else said it, but I'm like, I can see it. So when we ended up, I'm in the tuxedo, we sitting there, it's our segment coming up. And I'm like, oh my God, I had already done the red carpet stuff, took all these pictures, all these interviews. This was all new to me, dude. Like, I'm like folks knowing my name. I get out the car, the driver, you know, pulls up and opens the door, and somebody says, that's him. And you get all these cameras flashing, and I wasn't ready for it. So I was really nervous, man. You know, our producer, Paul Garnes, Omar Dorsey, you know, they were like, man, what's wrong with you, man? I said, dude, I know Retina's nominated. Kofi's nominated for something. We got some writers nominated. We got some other nominations, and the show is nominated. I said, I want everybody to win. I said, I want us all to win. I said, but if nothing else, I said, I want the show to win, because that still means that we all win. So I was, you know, I said, we worked hard. I said, we got a dope crew. We had some great, I mean, it's just been an awesome experience. I said, to cap it off with something that I dreamt before, you know, and I felt it. I was so nervous because I said, I hope what I'm feeling is true. And I don't know if it was ever caught on camera, but when, I forget the other brother's name, but the guy who plays, anyway, it was the two gentlemen, one Latino brother, Hispanic brother. I don't know where he's from. He was on CSI Miami.
Okay.
And Mike Coulter.
Okay.
Dark-skinned bald brother who played, I keep forgetting the name of the show. But anyway, they were up, you know, and they presented, you know, our award when they announced, and they said, you know, and the Image Award goes to Skip. I mean, the whole place got silent, and I could hear, literally, I'm not joking, I could hear my heartbeat. just pumping, man.
Yeah.
And they were like Queen Sugar. And I jumped up so hard that I was close to the wall. I slammed into the wall.
For
and,
real?
and I turned around and people were like, you all right? I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Ran right into the wall. Bam. I didn't know if anybody saw it. And then when we were
slammed into the wall just from the energy in you just pushed you that much.
I jumped up like I was trying to do a 360 dunk, brother, and I slammed into the wall like I had to catch myself.
That's funny.
And then Omar Dorsey, you know, Ava wanted him to do the speech, and I told my friends, you know, they all knew I was nominated. I'm getting text messages all night. Man, we hope you win. And that was just adding to the anxiety, man. I was like, please. So I turned my phone on silent and I put it in my pocket. I said, I'm not looking at it no more because our categories coming up. They kept saying, hey, stay close. Your categories coming up next up. They just have all this structure. Yeah. And so when we walked up on stage, I knew, and I told my friends, you know, they said, you're going to have to get on camera so we can, you know, document this. And I saw where Omar was standing, and I said, Omar's giving the speech. So wherever he is, I'm going to stand right behind him. And if I could ever find the footage, I'll show you. As he's giving the speech, I slide right on in and I smile, right? And I look down at Nick and Bianca, and I look right into the camera, then into the audience. And my friends, I get all these text messages around the same time. Wow. I told them, I said, when I can, I'm going to give y'all a little cameo. I'm going to look right at y'all in the camera. And I couldn't find the camera, but I looked right where the prompter was and all that stuff. And they saw me. Next thing I know, man, I had like 50 text messages, dude. Wow. So we see you, bro. And I told people, I said, I'm going to be part of something that's award winning, whether I'm up behind the lectern behind or the microphone by myself or as a group. And when it happened, that was another dream come true. Blew my mind, Skip. And I said, I'm doing this. And then we working on the film that, of course, we can't talk about. Yeah. What we just worked on. Yeah. But this one, you already know.
Before we get to that, so what season? So was this after the first season of Queen Sugar when you all
got nominated for our first season, bro? And when we won, it just you know, to look out into the audience and you see all of these people, these actors and actresses, and these other folks who are public figures, and you know, who I've watched for decades in some cases, standing up, cheering and fist bumping and pointing and smacking us on the back and shaking our hand as we go past, and you know, and whooping and all this stuff. And I was just like, yo, man, like right now that chill, I was sweating, man, I sweated through that whole tux, dude. I was a nervous wreck, man. I was done. But then, you know, after that, you know, it got cool. But you know, the show having the success that it's had, you know.
Now what season is it in now?
Season 6 is coming up.
Wow, season 6?
Yep, season 6 is coming up in the fall. And like I said, some more stuff coming, man. So
wow, so yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, like trying to like go and talk about your past and your coming up. I mean, I can already tell from the energy of what we're speaking, people can in a way already understand. It's like now we get into the meat and potatoes of this interview to see, because a lot of times in my interviews I talk about, you know, people, what they've done way before and what led to this, but it's like we getting right to the meat and potatoes of the journey that you went through, but right at the point of that one of those climatic points in your journey that took you to the next level of things. Now, once you cross that threshold into that space, then a bunch of other stuff started opening up. Am I correct? Which lands to what we, you know, what you were talking about before, what we can't talk about. But that in itself is just, I mean, come on, man, just to being a part of something that's, you know what I'm saying, will be like no doubt stuck in stone for the next 50 years.
I think it's going to be a good one, man. But like I tell people all the time, you know, when folks that get younger actors and actresses, and then even some that are older, you know, like elders that just decided, I'm retired, I want to have some fun, they want to get into acting. I tell them, be yourself, do your job, be diligent, be vigilant, and be determined, and have and be visual. And I tell people, when you really focus and see and project that's an energetic thing. You know, there's an energy behind you visualizing or imagining. I tell people the imagination, and imagine, the root word of imagination and imagine is image. Picture what you want, you see it as clear as day. And when, you know, let's give an example, when we were on the set of the
Mm-hmm.
thing that we just worked on that we cannot speak of.
All right.
I pictured that when I went and auditioned, when I read the script, I called my agent back and I said, this is good. I definitely want to audition for this. And when I did the self-tape, I told her, Susan Fincham, I said, Susan, she's like, yeah. I said, I booked this. She's like, how do you know? I said, I just know it. I feel it. I know it. It's the same feeling I got when I landed Like Mike, The Marriage Counselor, Single Ladies, Queen Sugar, and this one. I was like, this is it. And you know, when you get used to that feeling and you keep that feeling, and things that you think about give you that feeling, and you emit that energy. And life is like a big echo chamber. What you vibrate outward comes right back to you. You'd be silly to yell at a wall or into the Grand Canyon and say, man, you suck, and then get an echo back that says, you're awesome.
Okay.
You put that energy out. I tell people, I say, I love my sprawling compound with the house that I love and the place that's perfect for me next to a river on a hill. They say, oh, you got that? I'm like, yeah, I got it. I just ain't in my possession yet. It's like if I say, Skip, I got an awesome present for you, brother. That's your present. That's your gift. It's yours. You just don't have it yet. And I see life that way. Like, this is mine. Just because I'm not holding it in my hand yet doesn't mean that it's not mine. I don't possess it, but it belongs to me.
It's so interesting, man. Like you know, and this is what the kind of conversation we had 3 years ago. It's interesting when you run across somebody else whose spirit is awakened. You know what I mean? And to have a conversation with someone, I can definitely feel the energy in the way that you speak, in the tone that you speak, about personal inward thoughts that, you know, bring out outward positivity and vibration into the universe and to your immediate surroundings, which basically sparks this drive within yourself to keep that same that same energy within yourself to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? So it's like you can accomplish certain things but still not feel content in that space. It's like it keeps becoming this drive and determination, this determined goal, no matter what it is, because every day is an available opening space of opportunity. And when you begin to look at life that way, it doesn't put you in a place where you, not to those that are in cubicles, but into a space of, okay, what am I going to be on today? Like, we can be on set and you know that you're going to be on set, but you don't know what could happen throughout the day on set. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. That part of what it is that you do, what it is that I do, you know what I mean? Like, it becomes a constant, it's like going to Six Flags, man. I don't know, man. It's like going to Six Flags and you know that it's rides there, you know it's candy there, you know that it's these things there, people are happy, but how will you feel when you get on this ride? How will you be when you get on you know what I mean? You just enjoy it, you know?
The ride might break down right when you get to the front, or it might rain.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And you decide to leave, and right when you get home, it stopped raining, it's all sunny, but now it's too late to go back. It could be anything that happens. You never know. But again, like being on set, you know, what I like to bring is, you know, I'm a preparer, man. I like to bring fun, energy, even if, you know, and you know that there were scenes where I had to, you know, convey one emotion or another, you know, something as disparate as anger and happiness, you know, or fear and courage, you know, just the different things. And sometimes, you know, you have those days where you're really, really up.
Yeah.
And you got to bring yourself down for this thing, or sometimes you just tired and down, and you got to bring this high energy. Yeah. And that's the thing with, you know, with me, I equate a lot of these days on set to life, because those days when I was walking to the mailbox or to the gym, rain or shine, bugs, hot, cold, didn't matter. I just had to do what I had to do. But, you know, the end results was me accomplishing something, and certain things that were said, I mean, literally that were spoken, the word, is a frequency, which is an energy that has a cause and effect on other energies and frequencies. And so when my friend said that, wouldn't it be cool if you had to leave the party Thursday night early because you had to fly out to LA Friday morning for a part? And for that to happen exactly the way, and it was early in the morning because my flight was at 7. So, you know, I'm up at like 4 something in the morning, get to the airport. And then, you know, for me to have spoken, you know, energetically what I wanted to, you know, to be the case, and then to have it said back to me, and then to have other things going on, you know, like, you know, I said earlier this year, you know, I had like scheduling stuff. I said, I want to do this. And I said, I want to book a movie this year. Sure. And I did. And, you know, and then running into you on set and having an awesome experience. You know, I spoke to the director and producer. I said, this has been one of the more awesome experiences for me because, you know, it's moving me up a little bit with as far as like, you know, on the credits and things like that, but also the caliber of people you're working with, the caliber of production value, things like that. But what I was able to do as a character, you know, like what I was able to do. And that I believe is in no small part because of what I said I want. Right. And this is what I tell people. I said, you know, a lot of people think that their roles that they get are up to the producers and directors and writers and casting directors and agents and availability. I tell people, speak what you want in your life all the time. I tell people, when I'm at home, I don't talk to myself. I talk by myself. You know, I'm not responding and having conversations. I actively, audibly say what I want. Yeah, me too. And these things, very many of them, and the frequency and the rapidity and the intensity of things being very closely matched to what I say, if not exactly, but very close, are matched to the words that I spoke and the images that I saw for what I want in my life. And, you know, some things take a little bit longer. You know, you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that won't take as long as making, you know, a smoked turkey or, you know, a full meal. You know, some things are, you know, they'll come real quick and some things take a little longer, but the reward that you get for having persevered and stuck things out and spoke what you wanted and literally living the things that you said you wanted, it is an amazing feeling. And I tell people, I say, focus on that. And no matter how hard it gets, what's the harm in continuing saying what you want? I say, because one day you very well might get it. Right. You know, and, you know, you can take one splinter out of a tree at a time, but eventually you're going to get to a point to where the rest of them splinters can't hold that tree up and you can knock it down and you can do what you want with the rest of all this tree of life that you've, you know, brought down to your level that you can do more things with. And that's just a crude analogy, but it's a matter for me, you know, in my experience of speaking and feeling and visualizing and knowing that I already have what it is that I want. Period.
Brother, I don't want to hold you up. I know that you're a very busy man. But you know, hearing you speak is definitely, and being in tune is definitely a superpower that not everyone.
I like to think that way, bro. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Definitely a superpower. You have to. It's like Spider-Man or Superman. Mm-hmm. It's like you in the day when you're around people, you're just kind of yourself, but really low key, you're a superhero, and you're a superhero with certain powers of being in tune. Yeah. And you know, you have certain people that can take what it is that you've gone through or what I've gone through and look at everything from a negative perspective. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they just kind of falter. But you have some people that go through certain obstacles in their life and take those obstacles as positives, which ends up building them up. That's a superpower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that because, you know, the boyhood fantasy imagining mind that I have, it's that. But I tell you, everybody has that.
Yeah.
Everybody has that, but some people don't. It's like, you remember the movie Jason Bourne? Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
So there's this guy, he's a hired assassin in so many ways, but he has an accident, he loses his memory, but he has all this stuff that he knows how to do. He just doesn't know why he knows it. Okay. You know, it's like same thing with certain people. And people say, yeah, I saw that, I think that. I said, when you have these little, as I call them, spiritual notifications or spiritual downloads, That's your inner superhero tapping into you, saying, hey, we're trying to start you up. It's like you get a person in a vehicle. That vehicle is the transport. This is your transport. There's a pilot in there trying to get you started.
Come on, man.
And some of these different parts, you know, like, oh man, the starter's messed up or the battery's dead. It's a spiritual atrophy. And I don't know if people know what atrophy is. If you look up atrophy, atrophy, it means the weakening of a thing. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It's like having a battery, a rechargeable battery that needs to be recharged. That battery is there. It just needs to be refueled, and it'll be refueled by not belief, not hope, just having a knowing and a determination that what you know and what you want is already there, and it will come through to fruition. It's like I use the analogy, like, yeah, Skip, I got this awesome gift for you. You're gonna love it. I bought it for you. I got it for you. I had it customized for you. It's already yours, and you ain't even had it yet. But it's yours. Right. I tell people the same way with things that you want. Think of it's like what you focus on. I say, think of the universe as like a very loving guardian. And it's asking itself, well, what is he or she focusing on? He's focusing or she's focusing on lack and fear and doubt and misery and frustration and hopelessness and woe is me and victimized. And they say, well, give them that. If that's what they're focusing on, you know, they give them that. But then the universe says, wait a minute. Now they're focused on something else. What are they focused on? Prosperity, power, purpose, vision, moving forward and upward progress and all that. The universe says, oh, that's what she or he's focused on. Give it to him. Right. You do that 180. A lot of people make the mistake. So I did a full 360. If you do a 360,
then you're back to where you started.
To the same direction you started. Do a 180, or sometimes it's the 90 degree. You might be going this way and you need to make a left turn. You keep straight. You're going in the wrong direction. Sometimes you're going in the opposite direction. Sometimes you're going the wrong direction. Sometimes it's just a matter of a slight shift in degrees. Go this way instead of this way. And when you start to shift those thoughts bit by bit, minute by minute, little by little, day by day, week, month, year by year, I said, it's like anything you practice, you get good at. Start to practice speaking and visualizing and feeling and knowing and accepting what it is that you want. That energy is flowing from you. Ever walk into a room and you're like, oh man, you ain't said nothing to nobody, but you're like, I don't like it in here. It just don't feel right. You go to someplace else and you're like, oh man, I like it up here. You know, stay there. I said, please. I tell people, I say, stay in the positive mindset. I said, it's much more fun. It's much more fun. I said, imagine having to go to the dentist every day this week, or going to the amusement park, or going to the arcade, or going to your friend's house, or going to a barbecue, or going to the game. And you got to go do this stuff you don't want to do because your mindset is keeping you there. But the stuff you want to do, it can take you there, but you're not even thinking about it. I said, imagine if you could, if you can think whatever you wanted into existence, what would it be? And people start talking about all this stuff. I said, think about that, talk about that, visualize that, know that, believe in, don't just believe it, know it, and accept that. All the time. If you're in traffic, be like, whoo, boy, I think these people driving crazy, but I'm so glad that I am blah, 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 whatever.
That I have a car that I can drive to and from.
And that I'm going to a place or whatever it is. If you want to see wherever it is you want to see, and I don't want to be loquacious, bro, but I'll say this because I tell people all the time, I know how it feels to be in a mindset, in a state, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, of dark hopelessness. I know what that feels like. I know it so well. And I said, sometimes it takes a little while. It's like if you've never been to a gym and you've never worked out. The beginning of your workouts are going to be very hard. You're going to be sore. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to know what you're doing. You're going to make mistakes. You might even hurt yourself, which is an unfortunate thing. I said, but like I said, you get good at whatever you practice. You continue to do this stuff and get in the mindset and speak certain things. I said, don't be ashamed. They said, oh, I don't want to speak. I don't want to talk to myself at home, while I'm by myself. That's embarrassing. I said, embarrassing by who? You're the only one there. Right. Speak what you want to yourself. Let your ears hear what your mouth says. Every cell in your body is resonating with what you say to yourself all the time. And I say in my book, what you say to you, what you say about yourself to yourself while you're by yourself determines your self-worth. I'll say it again. What you say about yourself to yourself when you're by yourself determines your self-worth. That means that with nobody else around, you ain't got to front, you ain't got to suck your gut in, you ain't got to brush your teeth, you ain't got to have your hair done or have all the stuff. This is just you in the raw, organic. And there's one person that you can never lie to, no matter how much you try, and that's yourself.
Now, speaking, so you have a book?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So how long is this book? When did this book come out? How long?
I published it in 2014. It's called Who the Hell Do I Think I Am? It's a very short read.
It's on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's a very short read. And I think I have, oh yeah, hold on one second.
Okay.
To give you a visual.
Yeah. Let everybody know out there that, comes across.
This is what it looks like.
Okay.
And like I say, it's a short read. It's a really quick book. Who the hell do I think I am? A brief and candid assessment of oneself. Nice. And when I say candid, it's the book is written in first person. And when you're reading it, I tell people, read it aloud. And if something resonates with you, like I have a few of my friends who purchased the book, some I gifted the book, and they say, I read that and I got a chill. I say, if something is affecting you like that physiologically, then it's resonating. That's a vibration, that's a frequency, that's something speaking to you, whatever it is. It could be one word in that sentence, or it could be the whole paragraph. I said that these things, and there are other books like this. Mine is not the one all and be all.
But it is yours.
But it's mine, and this is my expression of that self-talk that I needed to incorporate into my life to move in directions that I want.
That book is called what again, so people can see it?
Bam. Who
the Hell Do I Think I Am? Got you. So make sure y'all check that out on Amazon. Go to Amazon and get that book.
And it'll be on my website soon. I got some other stuff coming up. I'm working on the audio.
What's your website? What's your website called?
TimonKDurrett.com or TimonKyleDurrett.com. It's still being developed, but I got some other stuff, including my artwork and some other things. And I'm working on an audiobook version of this.
Nice.
As well. So.
And you're reading it. You're going to be reading it.
Written and narrated by Timon Kyle Durrett. So
nice.
But yeah, man. But like I said again, Skip, and I gotta dip out.
Yeah, definitely.
But I tell people, everybody who's listening, go after what you want. Don't think it's too late. Do your best not to tell untruths to yourself, because that doesn't work. Just remember that every cell and every bit of essence that is part of you resonates and reverberates and perpetuates what you say to yourself, whether vocally or mentally, spiritually, or even in your gut. All that stuff, all this whole working system, like having a car.
Yeah.
Can't have it, you got the tires, got to have the axle got to have the drive shaft shaft's got to be attached to the transmission is moving, and the engine powers it all. The starter starts it up, and the headlights and the windshield and all this stuff. It's like a mechanical organism. The human body is the same way, but it's not just the thing that moves the car. Your radio sound system doesn't move the car. It's not really essential, but it's that extra stuff, all that extra stuff that you feeling. Those things that you feel as you're moving through life. That's your sound system. That's the bass and the treble that's thumping your heart and into your spine and telling you, yes, this is moving you in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Again, another crude analogy, but I tell people all the time, go after what you want and seize the day, as they say, carpe diem, seize the day, seize every opportunity you can. And you don't have to do it every day, but when that thing that you wake up thinking about, and that thing that's on your mind when you go to bed, that's your vocation. That's the thing that's calling to you to do. Like me, people say, oh, you got to work today? I said, no, I don't work. I said, what I do, I don't consider it to be work.
Right.
Because I love what I do. It's not a job to me. It's a career.
It's a career. Tim, I appreciate you, man. I thank you for sitting with me. I'm thanking you for, lounging with me today, man. It's a blessing to see you and to have this conversation. I was definitely fed spiritually today and mentally as well, man. I'm glad that I had this conversation with you, man, on my podcast. For everybody out there who's listening and who's watching, you can go to my Instagram, Loungin with Skip podcast. At Loungin with Skip podcast on Instagram. And Tim, what's yours?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, Timon K. Durrett, / whatever the platform is. I'm just on those, those three. And again, my website, timonkdurrett.com and timonkydurrett.com will take you to the same site. More content is being developed to be put on the website, including more of my artwork, which a lot of people don't know that I do. So that's what's going on. If people want to kind of get a feel for what's going on, I will have little video vignettes and things like that about my artwork, the audio book, my book, and other things I'm working on coming up real soon. So, it's all about timing. So I'm getting it taken care of. So
Tim, salute to you, man.
Yes,
and
sir,
I appreciate you, man. Until next time.
Yes, sir, man. We'll get at each other, bro.
All right, for sure, bro.
Cool,
Yes,
bro.
cool.
Later.